I'm going to post a video real quick after this about, God, it's not Honey Badger. Is it Honey Badger? Oh my God. She's had several different accounts on here too, like most of us, Hellraisers. Okay, she went through and wrote down and read off all the stuff that they're saying on X about Trump. And I am telling you, take the Rain Man part. I'm not trying to say I'm a smart person, but I have had this proclivity for math all of my life. And obviously, one sassy motherfucker, okay? But she was reading off all of the shit that they are saying about Trump over on X, about how they can't stand him, they can't stand to hear his voice, etc., etc., etc. So, hear me out on this one. Do some research if we even can get to it, and look at what happened December 2nd in Tennessee. That's all I'm going to say. Mike Johnson went down to Tennessee before that election and had backdoor meetings. And I'm not going to mention the county. I can't even remember what county did it, but we saw it on live television. I mean, on live. Brian Tyler Cohen was filming it live, and I think it's still on his thing. Okay, here's my theory. Here's my theory as to why the Republicans are criminals, con men, liars, cheaters, thieves, and have actually stolen our country. I mean, it's supposed to be that our votes and our, for the beauty contest are supposed to matter, right? Because in a democracy, we don't get things stolen from us, right? I mean, if you had your car stolen, wouldn't you call the police and fight like hell? And yet we're watching our country be picked off. Tennessee was able to certify and then get their guy to Congress within 48 hours. Huh. And we watched it all happen on live. And you know why? They learned, now this is just me. I'm going to be critical of Democrats for just 1 second, okay? Because we are like, New York, California. I've come down really hard on like whack-a-mole and the permaculture lady, who I understand that, most of us are on the West Coast or East Coast, and now we've got Colorado and whatever, but you cannot imagine the fury in the Midwest. You cannot imagine the fury of these people that realize that they've been fucked over. You cannot imagine when they wake up and they will now, there was a thing where people were donating to Democrats and they've never donated to anyone in their life. They've been a Republican their whole life. So you're telling me, I'm not going into it because I know it's going to get bananaed on this app, because we have given them, we've just let them have our power because we're busy, professional, educated people, and we don't want to look like them. We have basically said to your city police officer, well, my car's missing, but there's nothing I can do. My car's missing, so I'm just going to have to wait till 2026 to replace it. Until then, I'll walk. Would you do that if they stole your minivan? No! But the Republicans have learned ever since we had the hanging Chad that our educated elite asses are going to just sit down, be quiet, and let them. We let Fox News lie. We scroll by so that we don't upset our friends. We don't want to ever talk about what's truly happened and what's truly going on. I mean, I know some of you probably can't sit down at a blackjack table and figure out exactly what cards are still in the deck, and that's okay. There's a lot of shit I cannot do. Like, I can't even figure out my Google Calendar, okay? But there's some things I can do. I can see, like, when I can do math formulas like the Good Doctor guy did in his head. Like, we do. If there's no motherfucking way that this last beauty contest was legit. And we know because we are seeing everything they're saying on, they're not saying it on here, because, these little alpha, little tiny boys with a big truck will never admit that they're wrong, because they will lose their following. And all they've got left is their following. They've lost their families. They've lost their wives, their girlfriends. They can't find a date. Male loneliness epidemic just so happened to coincide with Donald Trump's presidency. And the COVID is a hoax and all the other bullshit that they've been doing. There is a Hurt Locker level of going on right now. We are in an economic downturn that is worse than the Great Depression. And you know where it's going to be even worse? The middle of the country and in all the red states. And what happens when we're out here on the coast, we cannot relate. And I only say this because I moved from Missouri to California. I lived in California for 12 years, thank God in heaven, so that I saw that California was like a completely different country. They can go sit around in their circle jerk and say, California, they're full of shit. 1996 on is when Fox News started literally pumping bullshit into their heads. It is the bullshit factory. And what happened with Bush, What we saw happen with like the Swift boat thing, what we saw happen over and over and over again, what we saw happen with Hillary, what we saw happen, we keep being complacent and we keep complying in advance. The number one rule for no authoritarianism is do not comply in advance. But they know that we're not going to fight back because we have this image that is more important than anything. So ask yourself this. If you're going to just sit back and wait, because December 2nd, we should have handed the gavel over to the Democrats, and this shit would be over. They are escalating the fuck out of ICE right now. They're breaking in homes. They left a 7-year-old child alone at home because they took all the family. Because there are no criminals. If there were people that were really criminals, then if immigrants are really the criminals, those guys would be blasted all the way back to the street with the I don't know why we don't have a bunch of white guys camping out in the family rooms of all of our brown and black friends, because they're coming for the black people next. See, they can't make their quota. Donald Trump is way behind, and Stephen Miller is literally on, I swear to God, he's got to watch these ICE videos day in and day out, just absolutely pleasuring himself. He and his wife both, they're both absolutely abhorrent. But ask yourself this, if you don't think that they don't know that we're not going to say shit, they know. And I'm going to just say this to the baby boomers, and no offense to the baby boomers, but you guys grew up during a really happy time. Happy time. Happy time. Most boomers are 10 years older than me. They're in their 70s. They don't have any time for this foolishness, and they've never had to deal with this level of corruption. Most people don't understand how narcissism works, and that they will do anything to stay in power and to keep the money flowing their way. But ask yourself this. You are handing over this country without even making a fucking phone call. Would you do that if somebody came along and stole your child's bike? No. Would you do that if somebody came along and came and took a dump in your front yard every day? Would you at least call the HOA? Or would you be too afraid that you look like them? Because there are so many people on this app, on Insta, especially over on Blue Sky, that are just way too intellectual to ever drop down to the Irish fighter that is like coursing through my veins. Would you allow them to steal your car without calling the police, without calling your insurance company and saying pay up? And if you can answer that absolutely not, then what the fuck are you doing right now? I'm going to post the next video about what's the comments over on X, and then you tell me that somehow Tennessee went the other direction of the rest of the country. Bullshit. It's absolute bullshit.